Yeah, it's that time, again, to talk about another AAA video game that released absolutely terribly. A game that they are charging $70 for you, that's how much they want you to pay, released absolutely broken and unfinished. And the new game that they've decided to add on that list, and another game studio that just absolutely wants to destroy their reputation, is ended up being Redfall. Redfall is a big Xbox exclusive game, and shocked to absolutely no one, this game is absolutely terrible. Now this shouldn't be surprising news because this isn't the first time I ended up talking about Redfall. As last time I ended up talking about this game, it was when they ended up releasing probably one of the most embarrassing tweets of all time, but eventually ended up saying that this game on a next generation console only gonna launch with a 30 frame per second mode. Now by the way, this is a next generation game, and especially the Xbox Series X, a console that they wouldn't shut up about being literally the strongest console in the world. Now with those news coming in, the expectations has been extremely low on Redfall, and people have not been expecting a lot from the game. But I still think it's crazy that when people have their expectations absolutely low, they still ended up disappointed, because this probably has to be one of the most broken video game releases I've ever seen in like a long time. And this is absolutely crazy because the last video game that we ended up talking about releasing terrible, something that I don't even know if it was even a week ago, which was being the new Star Wars game, Jedi Survivor, that game ended up releasing absolutely unfinished. But the only good thing about that game is at least that game was actually good. Although it was filled to the brim with bugs, at least the core game in general was actually a decent game. Redfall is just the absolute terrible game with no redeeming factor. This game is getting absolutely blasted by reviewers and people in general. The only people who are playing this game are people who have Game Pass, because if you actually spend $70 on this game, you straight up just got scammed. And especially if you live in another country where games are even more money than $70, you just got robbed, because this game is not worth that price at all. Now, I already have completely lost faith in all AAA games. I want to make these videos and basically begging people just stop buying these games. These videos are just here to tell you to stop buying these games and stop supporting these developers. I think it's just absolutely crazy that we are just at the point where just games releasing broken is just the norm. That's just the way how the industry is now. And Redfall is just another one to add on this list. And I literally don't know why game companies keep on doing this. Because again, when games like this release broken, the developers know that the game is 100% broken. And I know a lot of people will say that they release games this unfinished for money. So, you know, when the game comes out early, tons of people will go and buy it. But that's just not true, because this game is not going to succeed. When people talk about Redfall, they never say anything positive about the game. It's literally all negative. So when people are going to go and see and be like, oh, this game looks interesting, let me go and buy it, you're going to see that the reviews are mostly negative. And if they check out videos on YouTube about the game, it's just going to be about people talking about how terrible the game is. So you're not going to make any money from this situation. So what do you gain? You're just ruining your reputation. That's literally all you do. And especially from a developer like this, Arcane, the developer who made a game series like Dishonored, a game that some people say is like one of the best stealth games that ever came out. And yeah, even though the last game they made, Deathloop, was kind of mid, there's a lot of people who think that's an absolutely amazing game that they create. So for them just to come out and make this as their like next game, what does this do? This just ruins your reputation. You gain nothing from doing this. What is Redfall, you ask? Nothing but the most generic open world game you will ever see in your whole life. And it has all the things that we absolutely love about this genre. An oversized map that is filled to the brim with absolutely nothing. You can literally walk around with 2 minutes and not even see an enemy, or not even see something interesting happen at all. Filled to the brim with enemies who have way too much health, and you will spend so much time just hitting them over and over and over again, and they just, you know, barely take any damage, because we all know that's super duper good game design. And it has everyone's most favorite thing of all time, where you go and complete a quest, and then the game tells you to go halfway across the map just so you can go to talk to someone, and then he says some of the most generic things of all time, like, please go and find this book. And this book is important because insert super generic thing that's in every single open world game, and then you're supposed to care. Absolutely pathetic. There is already a bad Redfall already released, and it's a game that released around like 10 years ago. It's called Borderlands. You can just go back and play like Borderlands 1 or Borderlands 2, or I don't even know, maybe even Borderlands 3. I know some people don't really like that game. Those games are 10 times better than what Redfall will ever be in its whole lifespan of these games being updated. Or you can just go and play Destiny 2, which is also just a game that's just way more better than Redfall. I will always recommend for people just to go back and play indie games. If you ever feel jaded about the AAA industry and you only think it's all doom and gloom and you think it's 100% over, which it is, I generally think the AAA industry is over, just go and play indie games. There's a bunch of indie game developers who actually have passion and actually like care about the video games they make and care about their products, just go and support them. One game that I always recommend, Dead Cells. This is a game that's literally updated better than 95% of live service games. Go and support that game. You literally have thousands of hours worth of gameplay. You're gonna get way more value than spending like $24 and $30 on this than you ever would on spending $70 on Redfall. Xbox has not been looking good at all. Like, ever since this whole console generation, what really big games have they had? They had literally absolutely nothing but Halo Infinite, which came out as like a completely unfinished mess that absolutely no one wants to play. And then we even have Redfall, which is another big Xbox exclusive game that comes out as an absolute mess and that no one else wants to play. And the only thing left we have is literally just Starfield. And Starfield is a game that I used to be excited for, but I'm literally not. I was just looking forward to that game because I had a little like slimmer of hope that maybe that game may release good and may actually be something that I'll generally want to play down the line. But that's just something that I absolutely just threw away. I don't even think I'm going to buy the game because I generally just don't care. I already know that that game is going to probably release as like some unfinished garbage filled to the brim with bugs, and then Bethesda's just going to do what every other game developer do and just talk about how they're going to go and fix the game later. I am just done. Basically, the whole point of me making these videos is just telling whoever to watch it to just stop buying AAA games and just go to indie games. Go on Steam, go and find any indie game that you're interested on and play those instead. Play some actual games that have passion in them than just these absolute waste of time that these AAA developers are making. Anyway, my name is Lua. This is something I want to talk about. You have a good day or night. See ya.